As the episode begins, 3 of the main 6 are very excited about letters they've just received. Twilight finds out that Cadance will be coming to visit, and at the same time, Fluttershy gets invited to go study some tiny magical creatures called breezies. Yeah, I was going to insert the obligatory Generation 3 joke here, but then the breezy episode actually aired, so I'll save all my comments for when I review that episode. And just then, Pinkie Pie comes in, and she's excited too, because there's a sale on used furniture. Oh boy, this is gonna be one of those episodes where Pinkie's humor feels really forced, huh? So, with Fluttershy going out of town, Cadance arrives, and holy crap, it's Flash Sentry! Hey, does this mean we can finally stop all that bullshit about Equestria Girls not being canon? You know, part of me wants to be mad about this, considering that Flash wasn't really a character in the movie, despite, being a character in the movie. Still, his appearance here isn't really that intrusive, and I have to admit, the way he looks over at Twilight before leaving is a really nice touch. We then see Twilight being treated like a princess before Cadance goes, LOL, JK bitch. After reflecting on the fact that they only seem to see each other whenever some big emergency's going on, Twilight just wants to do something nice with Cadance for once. And the plan for today is a Star Swirl the Bearded convention. Hey, we even get to see a picture of him finally. The two head off, and there's more dialogue about how absolutely nothing should ruin their time together. Gee, I hope nothing major happens like Discord showing up. Oh, snap. I don't even talk like that. The fuck am I doing? He's an odd color and clearly seems to be sick, so of course the other main 4 treat him like shit and accuse him of being up to no good. Jeez guys, seriously? I mean, yeah, we'll find out later that he is up to something, but he just got here and technically hasn't done anything wrong yet. Can you at least wait for him to say something before acting like assholes? I mean, you did agree to the whole friendship thing as part of his rehabilitation, and he was pretty much on the level during the season premiere. He says that he has the blue flu and he's come to see if Fluttershy can help him get better. He also says that he and Fluttershy have been writing letters to each other, which seems to be a surprise to everyone else. And like I said, he is up to something, so I'm not sure if he's being honest about the letter writing business, but so far this part of his story seems legit, and it goes a long way towards showing the actual friendship that was missing during his last 2 appearances. Now to their credit, 3 of the 4 do agree to take care of him, but after driving off Rainbow Dash, distracting Pinkie Pie, and infecting Rarity and Applejack, he goes after Twilight. We get a musical number, and although John Delancey is the first one to admit that he's not really a singer, I have to say this kinda reminds me of a segment from Animaniacs, or as others have pointed out, the genie from Aladdin. There are a lot of fun moments, and as far as the songs on the show go, this one's far from being the worst, but it's not really that great either, and it kinda goes on forever, which seems unnecessary. Eventually, he reveals that there's a flower on the outskirts of Equestria that can cure him, but he's too weak to retrieve it himself. He offers to guide Twilight and Cadance there, and apparently the edge of Equestria is somewhere near the Stargate. The flower ends up being a lot bigger than expected, but the princess is uprooted, which reveals the worm from Tremors? Or is that Beetlejuice? Or Dune? Or more importantly, why the hell is that thing in My Little Pony? And why did Tara Strong and Brett McKillop's performances sound so phoned in? Stay away from my sister-in-law! Yeah, maybe you're not aware of this, but you're about to be dragged into a hentai and then eaten! Are you sure you don't have any stronger feelings about it than that? Anyway, after the girls are finished beating the worm, Okay, sorry. They find out that Discord was faking the whole time. It turns out that he was actually testing Twilight to see how far she would go to do something selfless for him. Because even he had noticed that even though Twilight said she was his friend, she hadn't really been acting like it. Thank you! I'm so glad he's the one to bring this up too. That's why I said earlier that he's up to something, but contrary to everyone's accusations, I don't think he's up to no good. Hell, if I had friends who kept treating me like garbage, I think I would also reach a point where I would either want proof that the friendship was real, or I'd tell them to fuck off. Now granted, Discord has a very skewed perspective of what friendship is, but remember, he's never had friends before, and the main 6 haven't really been setting a good example for him lately. The fact that he's trying so proactively to get involved really says something. And it's worth noting that he has shown that he's willing to change. He still likes to amuse himself from time to time, but he's no longer the chaos bringer that he once was. And that's even after the elements of harmony are now gone. So it's really not fair for everyone to keep crapping all over him while he's the one doing all the work. I don't think his methods are correct, and the fact that he was genuinely trying to drive a wedge between Twilight and Cadance isn't cool, but all things considered, I think he's doing surprisingly well. As for Cadance, there's not really much much to say. I like her well enough, but the more I see of her, she seems about as interesting as dry toast. Now, some people have pointed out that this episode shows Cadence being a nerd, or that she likes going on adventures. But honestly, I'm not sure. I get the impression that she's so focused on making everyone else feel better that she isn't really able to say no to anything. The fact that she showed distress at being imprisoned by Chrysalis actually seems to be the exception. Still, at least she's a more rounded character than Flash Sentry. In the end, this episode does a lot to address the complaints that I've had lately, especially with how Discord's been handled. And personally, I hope we get more episodes later giving him some one-on-one time with the other characters. And while it's not perfect, it definitely feels like it's moving in the right direction. Three's a Crowd gets an 8 out of 10. Hey everyone, show Discord where to make Flutter Babies and also help support me on Patreon.